Hey guys, my name is Tom, and welcome to the next episode of How I Met Melinders. The beginning of this gameplay, you're gonna see me hiding in the grass a lot because my roommate totally came in. I'm gonna also attempt to switch out this squeaky chair because that is annoying the ever-living hell out of me. But yeah, my roommate came in the middle of this match, and so you're gonna see me laying down near B flag for a little bit. But that's good because that gives us time to talk. Let's see, the last episode that I did of this, I left off, I think, talking about Catherine 2. And Catherine 2, in a nutshell, God, she was mean as hell. I think, we talked about that, God, way back in an episode. I think I was put on, Downturn. But, I'm thinking about, again, the reason that I started the series. And that whole ordeal is to kind of share with you guys how I dealt with things post-breakup, and really what kind of brought that idea back home to me was I had watched this video of this dude that I'm sub to, and he started doing this series called Dumb Girls, which is totally kind of not at all where I was wanting to go with it. That's not something I'm trying to say with these videos. It actually, none of this really has to go toward naysaying or yay-saying the girl, the particular girl that I'm talking about. It rather has to deal with simply the facts of what happened and, me chalking things more up to immaturity on my part and personality differences between the two of us. Luckily, for me, on, some of the cases, it's not entirely immaturity on my part, but, trust me, a lot of these flaws in the relationships of my past have to deal with the fact that back in the day, I was immature as hell, especially dealing with, reacting to situations that really frustrate me. I can definitely get bogged down in stressful situations. And for those of you that have been through a hellish breakup or a crappy relationship, those are the most stressful, times of your life. I think other than moving, they say moving is a big stressor, but a terrible relationship, really takes it out of you. And so this is my way of attempting to share with you guys how I coped with that. And the big thing that I focused on, guys, was not hating on the girl. Take Catherine, for example, and my friends hated on her enough for me 10 times over, but I definitely remember after that relationship still lying in bed at night and really focusing on things that I had done wrong and reasons why I felt the relationship could have gone a little differently. I'm glad it didn't. It wasn't meant to be, you know what I mean? And little did I know that I would, eventually find another relationship that was also not meant to be and meet another girl that was not meant to be. And I think I have two more before I get finally to meeting Melinda. But, I'm trying to think of exactly how I go from the breakup with, where I was in my head, because I had totally ingrained myself into this new lifestyle that I wasn't used to. This is the first relationship, I think, with Catherine 2 where I had kind of got it in my head that I was going to finally settle down. The thing where depression and resentment can kick in is when you are trying to settle down for somebody when you're not ready to settle down. And this isn't exactly saying I was wanting to go out and be wild. I just, the way that she wanted her life to end up and the way that I saw my life going were two different things. For example, this totally ended up being a passion of mine. I don't think I ever could have gotten away with this dating Catherine, I didn't really play a lot of music. With Catherine, I didn't really see a lot of people, I went to work, I was doing this unpaid internship with a photographer, and I came home, usually at 10 o'clock at night, exhausted. I'd go out to this local bar that we have, see some shows. I was kind of playing in a friend's band, but even then it was minimal effort on my part. I didn't really have to do a lot, just kind of, get hypey on stage. And so, I didn't have to write any of the songs or anything. So, there were a lot of things that I was kind of wanting to crank the machine on and start doing. that in that relationship I couldn't have done, you know. And sometimes it takes things like, you know, looking at it in a really weird way. Had I not broken up with Catherine, I never would have gone back to Conway, you know. And that was like us fighting over this apartment, of who was going to get our apartment, because this was the first time I actually like shared real estate with a girl. Like, we were both on this lease, you know. And when you break up with someone and you're on the same lease, you technically still fucking live together, which is, I mean, I think we were, you know, actually like maybe a week. And there was this horrible moment I remember where Philip and I we had like stayed up at night watching some movies, and she had come into the apartment to get some things before she went to work. And this is like 6:30, 7 in the morning. And we're both just laying there, and we hear her come in and kind of like look at each other, you know. And it's that feeling of like when you're two small kids and then you know there's a monster in the room. Again, I don't mean that like as like in calling her a monster. I mean that more as in it was terrifying, you know, because I knew that this kind of interaction, you know, wasn't going to go well. It was going to be very awkward and painful, and it was about to happen while my friend was in the room. And so she comes in and she fucking starts screaming at me. And, you know, it's something along the lines, granted, this is like way back, you know, maybe 4 or 5 years. She's screaming at me, asking if I felt that, like, since Philip was there, that she, you know, she wasn't going to, like, talk to me, or that he was going to protect me from her, you know. And I remember, I you know, I'll never forget this. I'm looking over at Philip, and he's looking at me, and we have, like, you know, if you can picture it in your head, our blankets kind of pulled over, so you kind of like, you're like, we have these like ninja eyes on each other, you know. It's all that's showing are our eyes, and you can totally just, you know, there are those rare moments where you and a bro, Baloo, chill, dude, where you and a bro will be able to communicate telepathically, dude, chill, and share, you know, one unique thought. And in that moment, I knew, you know, he was telling me not to say anything, and so I didn't. I lay there, and I didn't say a word. And she stood there, and that's, you know, where the memory, oddly enough, starts to fade. I can't remember how she reacted. I think I just, like, left my body, but I just lay there, and I didn't really, you know, kind of come to out of that moment until I remember hearing the door click. And I didn't know that from there on, I would soon be very close to being free, you know. So I will talk more about that in the next episode, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. It took a second for me to get it right, and I apologize. So from that on, I know it's all over the place, but I will awkwardly say bye-bye here, and hope you guys are having a great week. Bye, guys.